Blog Talk Radio.
Greetings and salutations, hempsters. This is your hempreneurial host, Tyler Hemp with HempAware Radio. We've got an exciting show for you guys today. The title of the show is Cannabinoid Conscious with Tim Gordon. He's the Chief Operating Director of CBDRx, one of the forerunning cannabinoid companies, CBD companies in the United States, possibly in the world. They're really treading some amazing ground with the products and the processing. Not only that, they are the number one company, or the first company, to have certified USDA grown organic hemp products that are being turned into cannabinoid products. I'm so excited for today's show. We're going to get into what cannabinoids are, how they work in your body, and some really fascinating information about cannabinoids, and really just start raising your consciousness and awareness about what they are, how they work, how you can benefit from them. So it's an honor and a privilege to have Tim on today's show. I apologize, Tim, for not giving you a grandiose introduction. We just met, so I would love for you to let our listeners know a little bit about yourself. But before that, first, thank you so much for being on today's show.
Hey, well, I really appreciate this. This should be a fun opportunity. And, I really, being a forefront in the industry like yourself, starting radio blogs and stuff as this industry emerges is great. It's a great way to get folks information and education. So thanks for having me on.
Right on. My pleasure. So give us a little introduction, what introduced you, or how were you introduced to the hemp industry, and what brought you to CBD, the CBD market, cannabinoids, and just a little bit about your background.
Sure. Well, I've been in the cannabis industry now for many years, both on the marijuana side and now on the hemp side. I'm professionally educated with a degree in horticulture science. I've been a chapter director for NORML, the National Organization for Reform of Marijuana Laws, in the past. I'm a former dispensary owner in Colorado. I've been fortunate enough to be involved as an industry professional and representative for both local, state, and county regulations in as far as marijuana and the cannabis extracts went. I've since been consulting in the hemp and cannabis industry, both for genetic breeding research, soil research, and growing conditions, and also on the extraction side. So I came to CBDRx as a consultant late last year, and I am now the operations director for the company. So that's just a little bit about me.
Wow, that's an awesome background. I didn't know that about you. So you've really been in the cannabis related or more psychoactive or medicinal side as far as the cannabis plant is related. So did you...
Tyler, this is a milestone for me this year. 2015, I can say in confidence, is my 20th year of growing the plant. So it was, being able to do it on a large scale like we did, go through the process of organic certification, both for the soil and the plant, and really make something special. It's been a truly an honor just to work with this plant. So
most certainly, and there's so many amazing benefits. Obviously, the three main uses for the plant would be the seed of the plant for food and oil products. And then we've got the fiber aspect of the plant, or the stalk. But now the U.S. is really catching on to this industry that you're focused on, which is more the flower, and taking the buds and the flowers of the cannabis plant, whether it's the psychoactive variety or the non-psychoactive, and turning it into these health products, or products that are rich in cannabinoids. So let's really get into what cannabinoids are, and kind of an explanation, a basic understanding, if you could explain to our listeners, what are cannabinoids and why are they so important?
Sure. Well, so let's start. So cannabinoids are a form of chemical compounds that are usually found in the Cannabinoid phylum, hemp and marijuana, both ruderalis, sativa, indica, any kind of hybrids. You will find these chemical compounds in a variety of influx, whether high in THC or high in other forms of cannabinoids. There are two main differentiators in the cannabinoid entourage, which one being high prevalence of CBD and the other one being high prevalence of THC. So cannabinoids, they are the most recognized form of the plant. You talk about extractions. Usually we associate cannabinoids with, anti-inflammatory measures, ideals of holistic health, a variety of very good medicinal attributes.
Mm-hmm. So these constituents or these compounds, they're in the main species of cannabis, or they're in cannabis. Are they found in many different types of plants or very selective plants? And obviously we've discovered, or scientists have discovered, that humans actually have an endocannabinoid system, right? We actually produce them inside of our body as well, which is why we work so well with this plant.
And that's right. You hit on a good subject there. So, cannabinoids are found in other measures in the botanical world, but not in the measurable influx that we find in hemp plants. Now, those cannabinoids, are part of an active environment of very good beneficials in the plant. Cannabinoids, terpenes, those the flavonoids, those entourage of the true medicinal aspects of the plant are what brings around the true efficacy and the correlation from the plant to our body. Now that correlation comes through our endocannabinoid system, as you mentioned there, Tyler. So the endocannabinoid system in our body is really a group of cannabinoid receptors that's in every mammal's brain, essentially. And it's throughout our central, peripheral, and consistent nervous systems. It consists of a group of modulating lipids and their receptors, and that group forms our endocannabinoid system. And it's really responsible for a lot of homeostasis in our body, stuff from appetite, pain sensation, mood, and memory are all really affected by our endocannabinoid system and our influx of cannabinoids in our body.
How interesting. So these cannabinoid receptors are like little locks where the cannabinoids fit like a key and kind of create, like you're saying, this homeostasis or this state of balance, whether it has to do with our appetite or our emotions or different immune system functions. So this whole cannabinoid system, it's like a brand new system, not brand new in the sense of it was just created, but brand new to humanity, that we just discovered it. And we actually discovered it after we discovered cannabinoids, right? We thought cannabinoids were just in the cannabis plant. And then we came across, oh my gosh, we actually have our own internal system. Is that how you understand it?
That's correct. You're very correct. Yes, sir.
Right on. So tell us, you mentioned, inflammation. What are some of the other reasons that people are ingesting cannabinoid-based products? Or what are they looking to achieve?
Like we touched on, we all have our endocannabinoid system, and it's infected. It is affected differently, by our own moods and actions and stressors and stuff like that in our lives. So when we use those cannabinoids existing in the hemp plants and we bring them into our body, we ingest them, we can actually, you see I'd love to give you some amazing testimonials we've had for folks who are using high levels of cannabinoids for radiative cancer therapies, for an entourage of related cancer therapies. Folks who are using it as an assistant for weight loss and are seeing great results. Folks who are, using it daily like a fish oil and seeing just a huge reduction in pain, in joint swelling, and in general reduction in overall discomfort. So the efficacy of the plant is very science-based, and there's a lot of recent research and research to come that's going to also point to the efficacy of the plant. So,
So, and there are many different types of cannabinoids, right? We've talked about THC, or tetrahydrocannabinol, which is the psychoactive cannabinoid that gives people the high, but then there's the other really popular cannabinoid, CBD or cannabidiol, but aren't there like CBN and CBG? There's a lot of different other cannabinoids, and they all kind of have, like you were saying, an entourage effect. So it's not just about taking one cannabinoid. I think the approach that you guys are taking with CBDRx, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're extracting these cannabinoids in such a way that they're mixed with other compounds, minerals or enzymes or other natural components that are in the plant that help it more to be digestible or metabolizable by the body. Is that right? You guys are. It's not just about one. It's really having this full.
That absolutely, Tyler. It is definitely about the entourage effects. All of the cannabinoids, whether it be CBG, CBC, CBL, CBV, I can go on. There's many listed, but those entourage effects of the cannabinoids are really what has the medicinal efficacy of the body. They work extremely well in conjunction with each other. Now, if you take a singular particulate, an isolate form of CBD, a singular molecular form, your body really doesn't react at its optimals as it would having a small form of CBC, CBG, small dose of THC, just because of the binding reactors there on the molecular level and how well they do work together.
Fascinating. So when people are taking these cannabinoids, let's say somebody's got major knee pain, or they have inflammation or arthritis, would they just kind of like take this as a maintenance, or like acute pain, or is this something people can also take for maintenance if they don't have any problems and they just want to kind of balance out their system?
That's great. You touched on, so it goes far beyond, just taking the plant daily for, I have a headache or I have, pain. The existing benefits in the body of having our cannabinoid system, our own endocannabinoid system, and in that homeostasis, in that regulating module of the body where everything is working to its best, is really the prime optimal. So, when your doctor or your healthcare practitioner or somebody talks about the benefits of taking a daily fish oil and how it's not just taking the big dose but having the constant dose where your body is at its peak absorption, it's much like that with your endocannabinoid system. So yes, taking it much like you would a vitamin C or a vitamin E pill or whatever you may.
Very interesting. So in other words, most of humanity is probably deficient in cannabinoids running throughout their body, mostly because
that is.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say that is awesome, Tyler. You just hit it on that. There's some really cool studies that actually CBDRx is working on in correlation with local universities, and one of the focuses in my research on that level is cannabinoid deficiency in the human body. So that's real.
And so would you say that that's attributed directly to the prohibition and the fact that cannabis has been taken out of our daily lifestyle, whether it's eating the seeds or consuming the, seed oil or protein, or consuming maybe the leaves of the plant in our protein, in our smoothies or our salads or juices or things like that? If we were eating this plant on a daily basis, we probably wouldn't be at the point of needing to really supplement. Would you say that's an accurate statement?
Absolutely accurate. I think you hit the needle on the head there when you said, it dates back to prohibition, where, you don't have the availability to, have the benefits of the plant anymore. When it was taken out of our society, when we had so much to learn and use and still take from it. And then there's the relative science that's come since over the years now, discovering that, how we do, our body is dependent on these cannabinoids. So, yes, I totally believe that, our lack of education and lack of ability in cannabis-derived, society definitely dates back to the time of prohibition, absolutely.
Fascinating. So we've also heard this term terpenes or terpenoids. What is the difference? Because obviously terpenes are found in most flowers and plants. What can you tell us as far as what are terpenes as compared to cannabinoids, and how do they relate to each other?
Sure. Well, yeah, like terpenes are also, they're just a huge class of other, organic, diverse chemical compounds that are produced in a variety of plants, like you talked about. They're from anywhere from, pine trees on down to, a geranium. They're produced everywhere in the botanical world and in the world of, of culture, of myocultures, and everywhere. How they relate in relationship to cannabis and cannabinoids is they are more prevalent, often more prevalent, but often overlooked. Terpenes, they just are essential medicinal value, and they're really also there to help mediate the body's interactions with your cannabinoids. So they're there actually binding with the cannabinoids and making them more beneficial, more receptive to the body.
Interesting. So they're part of that whole entourage effect and really getting a
absolutely
full effect.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. And the aromatic, they're what give the plants those amazing smells that we get to experience.
That's right. That's absolutely it.
So let's talk about
terpenes are essential.
Sorry, right.
I just said terpenes are absolutely essential.
So, and they also provide the flavor, right? They flavonoids, terpenoids. They provide the smell and the flavor of the plant.
Yep, that's correct.
So let's talk about some of the most common misconceptions or myths that people get confused about, or maybe just aren't aware of. So cannabinoids are extracted from the flowering tops of the cannabis plant, sometimes the stalks, but not really, found in the stalks or the roots, or the seeds. Tell us, a lot of time people think, hemp oil and hemp oil and CBD oil are the same thing. But according to my knowledge, hemp seed oil is simply the seeds that are pressed, and the fatty acids, the fatty protein inside the center of the seed is what contains the hemp seed oil, and that's pressed. And that's a completely different product than a CBD hemp oil, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, that is correct. Essentially, the benefits again of the plant. You're taking multiple facets of what the plant offers and making, amounts of really truly good medicinal products for folks to change their lives with. So the availability to extract seed for seed cake for oils, like you said, to be able to extract herds for sugars, the stalks I'm talking about for sugars. And you can also do some extraction for cannabinoids in those. But you're right. So, the difference between extraction for your cannabinoids and, versus other extractions is considerably different. The process of extracting, there's a variety of ways to do extractions, for cannabinoids, whether it's a CO2 extracted process, an ethanol, perhaps a lipid. There's some folks who use a water extraction process. So there's a variety of ways to do that, and then it goes back in conjunction with to the actual hemp oil, like you're talking about. To have the hemp oil along with concentrations of the cannabinoids in there, those lipids that are already in the plant are much better binders together than a singular, just a singular molecule itself.
So if somebody's consuming hemp seeds on a daily basis, or maybe they're putting some hemp seed oil on their salads, would you say they're getting a nice little dose of cannabinoids, or is it so negligible in that portion of the plant that it doesn't really affect the body or contribute cannabinoids?
Yeah, what you're getting when you just have a hemp oil extracted, you're getting many of the beneficial omegas, the fatty acids that are also there in those seeds. Really a lot of beneficial oils that are readily absorbed by our body. You're not getting the cannabinoid profile, but you're getting a lot of other medicinal benefits there.
Very good. And you mentioned several different forms or methods of extraction. What is the most predominant form that CBDRx and your team are using to extract these cannabinoids?
Well, Tyler, we have a variety of extraction methods. I guess we don't really have a primary form. We do everything from a lipid extraction, where we do actual full plant, where we take the stalk and everything, and we do extraction into an organic oil, whether it's coconut, whether it's a palm oil. We'll do a full extraction of the cannabinoids into there, and being able to have the cannabinoids already there in extracted form attached to a fatty molecule in the coconut oil or the palm oil is a huge bit, which your body really, really likes and absorbs really well. So some of the other extraction forms we do are CO2. Now, CO2 is a closed loop. You're using pressure and gases to extract the cannabinoids. And from there, we'll get a concentration of relative cannabinoids that are prevalent in the plant. And from there, we can do an infusation of products for baking goods, for skincare, a variety of other products. Now, we'll also ethanol extraction. Ethanol extraction tends to be cleaner, more pure. You get a little bit better terpene residuals, in my opinion. You can use those products for a variety of introduction to tinctures, other body care, infusation into food products or anything like that.
Very neat. So you've got the oil extraction, you've got the CO2 extraction, you've got the ethanol extraction. Now, if you were to just harvest a hemp plant and start pulling off the buds and just blend that into a smoothie, would you say that is an efficient way of consuming cannabinoids, or is it better, like if somebody's going through major pain or they have a chronic condition and they're looking to achieve a specific result, would you say it's more efficacious to take a concentrate, or would just growing your own hemp plant and eating the flowers be conducive?
Well, you're getting different molecular forms of the plant there. Now, both of them do have a very good benefit either way. Now, when you're just juicing, you're going from field to blender, so you're going raw product. Most of the cannabinoids, primarily all the cannabinoids, will be in their acidic form. Now, it takes a process called decarboxylation to really make the cannabinoids bond to another oxygen molecule and make them able to attach to your cannabinoid receptors and pass the blood-brain barrier there. So while, yes, there is intrinsic benefits and medicinal benefits of taking cannabinoids like in juices in their acid form and in shakes or however you may, salad, raw leaf, cheese or something, I would say, for a, specific, needed dose, I would consider, using a concentrate form.
Very good. Well, Tim, we just have about 4 minutes left. I'm really thankful for your consciousness, for your knowledge and wisdom. What are some of the other common misconceptions that you might want our listeners to know about when it comes to CBD products, or what is just some pertinent information that you feel is really important to share with our listeners about cannabinoids?
Oh, I would encourage folks to really educate themselves or find points of education because, in this world right now, we are not going to find in traditional medicine many doctors who are going to push that alternative to patients' vision. So it kind of takes self-education and self-determination to find what's best for health. And there's a lot of true research, there's a lot of true data that proves and that is continually proving how this plant benefits the human body in a huge amount of aspects. So my thing is to continue to press education upon the public, is to challenge folks to learn about the plant and learn about the intrinsic benefits and how it can change their lives.
Well, what are some of the books that you might recommend, or are there leaders out in the world right now that you would recommend our listeners kind of Google or look to? Are there any videos out there? Obviously, our listeners can visit CBDRx.com, check out all the research that you guys are up to. Are there any books that you recommend off the top of your head, or any specific videos or anything like that?
There's a variety of YouTube guys and YouTube folks. There's some companies in Australia. I don't know their names off the top. I think actually their research companies are different named. But if you looked up CBD cannabidiol research, any kind of YouTube channel, you'll find some really cool stuff that folks are starting to try to do and learn about and press issues on. So, information's out there. It's starting to gain strength, but with the technology we have right now, I encourage folks to jump onto the web and just look for basic education there.
Right on. Well, it's been wonderful. Your knowledge, like I said, is very much appreciated. If our listeners have any questions, if you're ready to order some CBD products, cannabinoid-based products, you can give us a ring at 805-410-4367, and we'd love to get you set up, answer any questions you might have. We're happy to represent CBDRx products and get them to you guys. If you have questions for Tim, you can always go to CBDRx.com and contact them there. Tim, it's been an honor and a privilege. Thank you so much for being on today's show. I look forward to working with you guys and getting these amazing products out to the community.
Hey, thanks for this opportunity. It was real fun, and let's do it again.
Right on. Sounds great. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Take care, Tyler.
Blessings. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is your HempAware host, Tyler Hemp. If you have any suggestions for radio shows or interviews, people that you want to have on the show, give us a ring at 805-410-4367. Check us out at HempAware.com/radio, or you can visit the iTunes podcast library to visit all the archived hemp episodes. So thankful to have you tuning into this radio show. We want you to be hempowered and hemp-educated so that you can go out there and share this amazing knowledge and wisdom with the world on this miraculous plant, this God-given plant that was given to us for food, shelter, clothing, and 25,000 other products. Make it a hempy day. Blessings.